Welcome to this edition of Utah Libraries Have You Covered. We're coming to you from the Utah State Library Blind and Disabled Recording Studios. I'm Jeri Openshaw, along with Jason Powers at the controls. Welcome. We have some real special guests today. I'm going to start with you, Mave. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Good. How old are you?
I am 11 years old.
She's 11. And Dad is Stevie.
Yeah, that's correct, Stevie.
Stevie Erb. And Mom is Sarah Erb.
Hi there. Good to be here.
You are here because you have a company called Unicorn Soda Designs. How on earth did you come up with this? What is it? Start with Sarah.
Okay. A couple of years ago, well, when Mave was a lot younger, maybe 4 or 5, we started adapting games so that we could play games together as a family. I grew up in a pretty game-rich environment with lots of siblings, and so it's just something that we did when we had time off school or something. And I wanted to make sure we could have that experience at home. And so Stevie was watching me adapt games, and he's like, would you please stop doing that? We can make things better.
Before we go on, let's talk a little about Mave.
Mave, I'll let you take that.
Go for it, Mave.
If you want to share, it's up to you.
I do want to share. I am very eager about letting people know my condition and how to help me. This is something I say every day. Okay, my condition is called optic nerve hypoplasia.
Okay.
And it basically is that my optic nerves behind my eyes are too small to see. And since I can't see, I can't build them. So
now we know. So you wanted to play games together as a family.
Yeah, so Stevie can maybe take it next.
Well, I think the first product that we started with was actually reading products, because I was watching her make these flashcards that I didn't really like. So I was like, we need to improve that and make it so that everyone can have high quality and you wouldn't have to replace the product. It's just a permanent product, like the flashcards that the TVIs use.
So they're tactile.
Yeah, they're tactile, but they're not paper. They're like plastic and magnetic,
Gotcha.
so they stay in place. So I was thinking of the ergonomics of it.
Sure.
But I also went to design school.
Oh.
So that I could do this because I used to be a professional chef.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a transition.
Yeah, it's a huge transition. But what I found is the creativity is the same.
I can see that. Okay. So, Sarah, you're trying to figure out how to make this work for a family.
Yeah, so I went back to work when Mave was 4. I was home with her for the first couple of years, and then we kind of switched gears. Stevie was doing school when I went back to work, and so now Mave's 11, as she mentioned earlier. And so through the last couple of years, Stevie's been watching as she's going through the system in public schools and wondering how to help teachers teach more effectively.
Oh, I love
for the
that.
Braille aspect, to say, hey, all these other kids that are sighted get access to a bunch of play-based materials. How can we help bridge that? And so we've been kind of observing and watching, wishing Mave had access to more play-based stuff. And so he's been working with her teacher for students of visual impairments, lives in Georgia, and they do training via Zoom for Braille and assistive technology instruction. So that's been fun to kind of have that collaboration where we can help build the materials and then they can practice with them at school, and she can kind of she still has her supports at school, but getting to involve that play-based aspect has been really fun as we've been collaborating with different teachers of blind students around the country. And different parents to say, hey, what would be cool to have in your family? What do you wish you would have had?
Oh, I love that.
When you were a kid,
Yes.
what do you wish you would have had when your kid was growing up? Like kind of what we wished with Mave. And so we've been kind of building those things as we go with her and as we learn with her throughout her experience as an elementary student.
And the teachers are pretty receptive.
Oh, they've been great.
Oh, that's awesome. That's terrific. So, Mave, at what point did you think, oh my gosh, I've got these great parents and they're doing these great things?
Like recently, I've been like, oh wow, I'm super lucky to actually have parents who actually want me to succeed and want me to be successful in life instead of those kinds of parents that are like not very good at.
Mave, you're an inspiration, and there's no question in my mind that you are going to succeed. You will succeed. I'm sure of it. So I can't imagine at what point. So you're thinking about doing all of these tactile toys, games, and like that's at what point you're like, let's start a company.
I think it came down to just watching the blind community and seeing the lack of like items. Like people were making things tactile, but they weren't necessarily making them accessible.
Right.
And those are two different things. And I think I didn't really realize that until I was in design school, that they're different.
So explain that difference.
So the difference is like if you're looking at dominoes per se, right? And you go to touch them and they move.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't stay where they're supposed to. So it's like that's a problem to solve, right?
Yeah.
So they need to work a particular way in order to do the job. So you look at what the application is and the job that it has to do, and you meld the two. Then you also have to look at, for instance, like the physical aspects of it when it comes to the tactility. Is it discriminate enough? Is the spacing correct? And that's kind of how it all kind of comes together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of times in order to breach that gap, because I'm not blind, I have to work with someone who is blind.
Oh, sure.
So it's their input that dictates the outcome of the product.
Makes sense. So how many products are you creating?
We have about 70 plus. Plus, I'm working on a new one right now.
Sarah, give me an idea of what some of those products are.
We started out with doing kind of the basic games. This is, I guess, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
when we've had the company open since 2022, but we didn't do much with it the first year.
Yeah, I
Stevie was
graduated in
graduating
2023.
Oh, okay.
And we're kind of figuring out what's the next step, and you know, where is he going to go? Or is this going to be something that we can do, that he can do full time? Or is this something that we would have to just say, okay, we can work in this space kind of part time and then kind of see what happens? And so far he's been happily busy creating. And so we started out with chess, checkers, Othello, backgammon, I think.
Yeah,
were the first couple, just the basic games that a lot of people know about, but making them different than the tactile or the quote unquote accessible, blind accessible, and games that would be played non-visually. So instead of using like wooden pegs and a big giant board, we brought a lot of the space down so that you could put it under your two hands.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so you're not having to have the real estate of a huge board to navigate.
Right.
Like Monopoly is pretty big. And if you had to kind of figure out what was going on, you'd have to either have someone verbally go around the board with you to kind of navigate and tell you where everything was. But when you're playing with something that can fit under two hands and you can kind of slide around the table.
Like reading Braille.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That two-handed aspect where it's encouraging the two hands. So looking at all of those components that are required for Braille reading, we're like, okay, we can pull those in, and tactile graphics reading and manipulating of different items like that you would typically want, those same skills you'd want to have. We're pulling that into the game-based aspect. Mm-hmm. So now we've got about, I think, probably 30 different games. Some of our multiple variations of games, maybe different sizes. For instance, we have like chess with Braille navigation on the outside, because tournament chess, you have all the positions and to navigate. So you've got your coordinates that you're working with. And so we figured we wanted to make sure people had access to that, because we didn't see a great board that was a Braille chess version. So we have a version without Braille. If you wanted to do like a small 6-inch by 6-inch board, you can have that and tuck it in your bag and take it anywhere. And then they've got the bigger version that has the Braille and the wayfinding. So incorporating all of that aspect, whether you're a Braille reader or not, you've got all these tactile aspects that you can play regardless of whether you're, 80 and going blind, you can play with your family.
Sure.
Or whether you're a sighted parent with, in our situation, with a blind child or a partially sighted child, you've got high contrast aspects for those who might want to have that and enjoy that as well.
Wow, fascinating. You guys have done some serious research. I mean, you don't think about that. Tactile versus like just, the application. So yeah, I get it. That's a lot of research. So 2022.
Yeah, is when we opened it.
When you opened it.
I graduated in 2023. And then,
We didn't get the website up until last summer, so 2024 in July.
It's taken a bit to
Do you have
navigate it all.
A store?
It's we have an online store.
The online store, okay.
Yeah.
And we've been going around to events. Like this summer, we went to the American Council of the Blind convention in July in Dallas, Texas. And then we went to the National Federation of the Blind convention that was in New Orleans, both in July. And it was just really, really fun to get feedback from the community.
Oh, I would think so. How receptive were they?
It was a ton of fun. Mave, you helped us at those tabling events. What did you think about those?
The second convention in New Orleans was so loud.
There was a lot of people.
Yeah.
The first convention we did, and this is our first time going to the national scene and getting a lot of feedback from people who would be like our prime, users of these products. And so it was really, really fun for us just to observe and watch and listen to their questions and say, people would say, well, what do you have at the table? And I'm like, reach out. This is a please touch table.
So cool.
Tell us what you see, and just listening to their feedback and saying, oh my gosh, this is a chess game. I have not
oh, wow.
And it was really fun for the first time seeing them experience our products without us giving any verbal information about it. Just saying, hey, look around, tell me what you see.
Yeah.
Another aspect that's really important when you're designing stuff is you have to realize you have sighted counterparts. So you want to pay homage to the original game so that someone who's sighted can look at it and be like, I know what that is.
Right. Well, you want to be able to play together.
Like Othello, there's some variation because what we found is that when the pieces are laying horizontal, they're not indicative for someone who's blind to play the game. So we made it magnetic and made it vertical so the pieces stack, but it still pays homage to the original game because you have the chevron pattern and the visual aspects that fold itself back over into the visual design. And then we made Othello magnetic. Then I realized that with the design of Othello, you could speed up play by redesigning it. So it was like a little bomb in the sense that it's like has a star and a round because you're doing round and round. So you can flip them over really easy versus the original design that was magnetic was squares versus stars. So you would have to align the square, which slowed play down. Just like when you're playing with a big board, the big board actually slows you down, but if you can change the size so it's ergonomic, so if it's under two hands, you actually speed up the play and it becomes fun for everybody.
Oh, I love that.
So it's not like sighted people waiting on blind people. It's often becomes the other way around. And these sound is really important too, right?
Sound, of course.
So all of the pieces, when I'm designing something, I try to put myself in that perspective of being blind. And it's just fun because you get to think about like the tactility of it and the texture and how it feels under your hands. And if it doesn't feel good, it means it needs to be redesigned.
Interesting.
So you were rattling. What were you rattling there?
So this is the Othello piece. It just makes like a really satisfying noise. And in order to make this, it has to be designed hollow. And then it's printed, and then you pause the print and you drop your object inside, depending on what you want to use, but it has to be round. Like we have dice that actually make noise too for that reason, so that you can hear when someone's going.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because then someone can't cheat.
When we post this podcast, we'll put the website up because people will definitely want to see some of the products. And are they, how cost effective are they? By the time you're designing this, is it something that people can afford?
It's something you have to save up with or for because the cost of like this one is $165. But the reason being is because it's made out of like the appropriate materials. What I mean is the case is
Sure.
PTG, the hinge is TPU. Then it's like using materials that are durable, and then stainless steel posts, and then magnets. Like what I like is the N52s, which are like the strongest magnets you can buy.
Right.
Like in our in the Mexican train set, we're using these axial or diametrical magnets that have a pull force of 2.7 pounds per magnet. So it's like they pull together and they just snap and hold really well. But
Wow.
this board's going to make noise. You can hear it.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, Mave?
So it has
and when
the magnets.
Yeah.
Can I demonstrate?
Yeah.
Sure.
Here, I'm going to give it to you. This is the giant backgammon, but we have a smaller version that's only like, was it 100?
That's pretty small.
You should see the other one. Did we bring it? I don't know if we brought it. But like I said, we have about 70 products.
Oh, look at that.
So we have a small backgammon that it can like fit in a purse or a little bag or a bigger pocket. And then we just made a newer backgammon that has some wayfinding so that you don't have to have a paper to tell you how to play.
Right.
Or how to set up the board, because it's got braille wayfinding on the outside with a little indicator of either a square, because we've got square pieces and then round pieces that are called checkers. And so one's about 6 inches long by about 2 inches, and then about an inch high when it's closed, and about a ½ inch high when it's set up. So you've got your dice that you can hear. One of the dice that have the 6 sides. There's 5 dice that come in there, and then one is a doubling die in case you get really into backgammon. You can kind of do a gambling edition. So we've got a doubling die in there with braille on it, and then the rest are tactile dots.
That's
so
amazing.
when we designed the dice, I think the dice was one of the first things we made.
Yeah, it was.
Because you can if we can infuse the whole gaming world with tactile dice, we can show people that braille isn't necessarily hard to read, it's just different. And these dots, they're called pips, P-I-P-S, on the dice, are the same size as a braille dot.
Oh.
So they're within BANA's requirements for braille size dots. So we're like, okay, if any sighted person can learn how to read dice, these dots tactilely that are braille sized, we can kind of get rid of that misconception that braille is hard. It's just a tactile literacy that your brain needs to keep on with that pathway to build those neural pathways to get that tactile sensitivity that's enough to read braille.
This is fascinating. Explain what you've got over there, Mave. I've got this small backgammon.
Okay, our giant backgammon. So each of Stevie's creations, I'm going to run the pieces down the
Oh, there you go.
backgammon
See how,
board.
yeah,
So they make clicking sound,
noise. Yeah.
so that you know where they are on the board.
Do you know how to play backgammon?
Yes.
And so the difference between these two, which made me make the bigger backgammon, is this actually has the pre-setup designed into the case, so that you can just feel the
Set it
case
up.
and know exactly where the pieces go.
Where to set it up.
There's like on my side at the left, and this is the outer board for me, is a circle, and under it 5. So I know 5 goes on that point.
You are amazing, Mave.
It's been really, really fun to just get to play with her and then see her take it and run with it. So she can, when we do these tabling events and gaming events where we might just go to someone's house or a location where you've got folks who want to have accessible games, we'll bring a couple of us to teach, and then Mave can run a table and teach them how to play whichever game. And it's
so
been
awesome.
totally fun because it's completely accessible. It doesn't require sighted individual
and I like
to
that
play.
you've got, I mean, it really is. It's dual action.
It's got, what are you referring to?
It says backgammon. So for people who are sighted, and then right underneath it, it's in Braille.
Right.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
Good job. I love that. So next time I want to play with one of my relatives, I might go, we got to go buy some of these.
Certainly.
I have a friend who was just speaking with a coworker, and her nephew is losing his sight, and he's 13. She was looking at the website. She's like, this is amazing. So she's already looking for things for Christmas for him.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. And hopefully, families will just enjoy getting to have access to play. And I'm like, if our blind community and our low vision community had more access to the leisure type stuff, it makes me wonder how much bandwidth we'd have for some of the other stuff that requires some, advocacy aspects.
How much is missing? I mean, where's the gap?
One of the reasons we kind of lean towards games pretty quickly is we realized it builds confidence.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And on top of confidence, it's another way of your brain thinking about spatial reasoning, so that you can actually, when you're doing like O&M, when you're playing a game with a kid and they're thinking about all the different positions of where the piece is, like tracking the board, they're actually doing spatial reasoning, which makes them better at O&M.
Well, and there's that connection between your fingers and your brain. And
correct, yeah. So and that was something that we're like, oh, this is actually ties right into literacy.
Of course.
Or like O&M, like the wayfinding.
And you didn't even
aspects
know that.
We didn't expect so much would translate into the actual like O&M aspects and the things that Mave is learning in school and learning, your way around a building. The Othello, Reversey, what's the other name for it? There's another name. Anyways, there's a lot of different names. Othello's one of the older games, like that's been around for hundreds of years. But the Othello is especially good because it helps with thinking about cardinal directions, northeast, southwest, and kind of making a plan and then going back and kind of adjusting your plan to see if it's still going to work. And it was really great for the two-handed aspects of Braille, keeping those two hands engaged the whole time you're playing. So if you're playing with someone who's sighted, I'm going to just watch while I don't mind that she's navigating the board and looking at it while I'm making my plans, because we can both be collaboratively playing against each other, but still kind of learning from each other. It's just been a ton of fun to realize how much of those social skills and stuff that we can build with just accessible games, that you don't have to keep saying, okay, read this for me, or hey, will you move my piece for me? I'm like, no, get your hands in there. You can do this by yourself.
It's just amazing. You guys are amazing.
It's been really a really fun adventure.
What a gift.
Yeah, we're going to be putting 3 more games up this week, and this is one of them, the Giant Othello. I just built this week. And then I also made this race game.
A race game.
Yeah, it's actually called the Braille race game.
So tell me about the race game.
It's one of the first games we started developing, but then we've finally gotten back to it when we've been working on the other games that kind of people know about. The Braille race game is just one that you're going to use with tactile dice, and you're playing with luck. So right now we have feng shui coins that you're using that have the little holes in them. And so you put them on a peg. So it's a really sensory rich game. You're practicing with reading the dice, and then you've got the blocks in the middle that have, that are your racers. So you're not necessarily playing a racing person or a character, but you're rooting for a certain one that you have the cards for. So you're saying, hey, I've got 20%. Each number that I have 1 through 6 coordinates with one of the players on the board. And then as I roll the dice, I can advance them forward. And so you can kind of battle against other racers. And so it's kind of a fun, simple game, but it's a really good way to just have a lot of interaction.
So is it something my 4-year-old grandson would like, or is it a little bit too much?
I would say 7.
7?
I don't know. I think a 4-year-old like it because we started playing with a bunch of little kids.
Yeah.
All you do is you eliminate there's like some advanced rules that you can eliminate where you get to actually bribe to knock back a player. Or so like someone else's bet.
You can simplify it.
So you could just race, and kids love that. I've played with little kids, and they absolutely love it.
He loves to race anything, anytime. So yeah, that would be great. Mave, we didn't really get to you about your favorite game.
I don't really have a favorite game because all of the games Stevie makes are amazing. My favorite game in a casual setting,
isn't it? Just like with a group of friends.
Lucky Ducks.
Oh, Lucky Ducks! I love that game. Would you say there's an age range? So obviously.
A lot of the Braille literacy stuff we've been working on hand in hand collaboratively with teachers. And so we're finally to a spot where we're working on getting grant funding to get that kind of infused into the school system and with families at home. So that's the thing that we've been working on the back end that we haven't really been really forward with, because we're like, we need to make sure we know how many contractions we need for each set. So we've got that all set. Whether adult services like rehabilitation services want to check in with us to see if we can help develop some things for them. But those are what we've been working on big time. And we've got a version that's great for like preschoolers. So from age 3 and up. So when students might graduate out of early intervention up to whatever age. So we've got some fun activities that would be great for literacy learning. I don't like to call it pre-Braille because it's more just pre-literacy.
Sure.
So just that tactile learning and literacy that you can start at any age, pretty much 3 and up.
And it seems like even like kids who are blind and kids who are sighted would love this stuff.
Yeah, it's been really fun to have Mave's friends, whether they're sighted or not, get to play with items. And we're just observing, especially the sighted ones, if they really gravitate to it. And I was like, okay, how much more would the student or the friend or child who doesn't have a visual impairment is going to get really excited about that.
Sure.
So it's been fun to test it on all kids.
And it would make sense for so many different visual, well, like maybe even dyslexia. It makes sense.
Yeah, I have dyslexia, so I understand.
Right.
Yeah, that multi-sensory learning, I feel like we need more of in the schools.
Exactly.
And just in families, and being able to honor that a lot of us have sensory needs, whether you have a visual impairment or not.
Yes,
it's
indeed.
thrilling to get to have something that feels good in your hand, that works, like the design and the texture of it and the feel of it shows how it functions. And you have that feedback, whether it's an auditory feedback, a sensory feedback. It feels good. And I'm like, we are sensory beings, and we can tap into that and have a lot more fun than we have in the past.
Sure. Fascinating stuff. We could go on for hours. We will call it quits here, but Mave, can you give me the website? Where do people want to go to find this stuff?
If you want to find our products, go visit unicornsodadesignstudios.com.
Exactly. One more time.
unicornsodadesignstudios.com.
You guys, what a great family. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's amazing.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us today. We're coming to you from the Utah State Library, which is a division of the Department of Cultural and Community Engagement. Services offered through the Utah State Library include library services for the blind and disabled, the Bookmobile program, Book Buzz for book groups, Utah's online library with useful databases, and Libby for audiobook checkouts, and so much more. Check out all the services at library.utah.gov. That's library.utah.gov.